Good evening. Welcome to Kingdom Lum Small Town Underground. Thank you for joining me. And this will be just a little early this evening because we are going to watch some fireworks this evening. And the guest that I had planned for this evening, we had to reschedule for next week. So I hope to be bringing you live with Harvey Wysong next week. We're going to have an awesome little discussion about all kinds of stuff, actually. If you don't know Harvey Wysong, man, he is pretty cool and has done an immense, just a whole lot of stuff, man, over the years. And I just want to sit down and get his insight. So before I get into the meat and potatoes real quick, I want everybody to watch, let's see, dadgummit, I can't bring that up right quick. Bear with me for just a second. We got a explosive little show tonight, and I'm not going to stay on but 8:30. That's my limit. That's my cutoff. So I'm going to try this really quick to bring this to you. I thought this is a neat little video to watch while I finish getting set up. So here we go. Let's see. Almost ready. Hope everybody's doing good out there this evening. I certainly hope that nobody blows themselves up next week. And let me make sure. Oh, yeah. All right. Here we go. So I'm going to pull this up real quick. This is what I call democracy, a dirty word type stuff here. So why is that backwards? Hang on one second. I don't have a clue why that's backwards. Let's see. Let me pull this thing up here. Shouldn't be backwards, but if it plays backwards, it's just the sound primarily. So here we go.
Of government based upon the principle of majority rule, period. End of discussion. Now, that's not very complicated. Majority rule. It's easy to understand,
It's working.
easy to sell to the masses, and I might add, deadly. For example, what would you call a lynch mob? That's majority rule. There's only one dissenting vote, and he's at the end of the rope. Now, that's pure democracy in action. Now, but wait a minute, you say. The majority should rule, yes, but not to the extent of destroying the rights of the minority. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are no longer describing a democracy. We are speaking of a republic. A republic is a limited democracy. It's a form of government based upon the principle of limited majority rule. Limited so that the minority, even a minority of one, can be protected against the whims and passions of the majority. And how do you protect the minority from the majority? You write down a set of rules on a piece of paper. You say, this we can do, that we cannot. At the top of the paper, you write the word Constitution. And then everyone agrees to follow the rules no matter what the temptation. And when you're finished, you've created a constitutional republic.
Okay. All right. Hang on one second here, folks. Let me get this last one in. Boom. Okay. All right. I think I got it shared out to everywhere. You can always help if you would like to give any donations. You can go to givesendgo.com/smalltownunderground. That helps me and the show. You can also share this link. You can share it to any of your groups. I try to share it out to a few groups that will have it so that we can continue to share information and until Fascist Book takes it away from us. So, all right, we're going to get started really quick. So I'm going to cover this story that has been sent to me from several people tonight. So I'm just going to pull the computer up and we're going to kind of get into it right here. So this is something that's happening in Walker County. This is a news story from Elliot Pierce, dated June 30th, 2024. 117,000 down the drain. Walker County schools paid $2,500 per minute for ads. So this is gaining a lot of traction. Leadership wasted $117,000 on promo ads, more than any teacher's annual salary. This could have hired 2 full-time teachers or funded basic classroom supplies. Teachers usually have to buy themselves. So moving along down here, there is an actual video of, I guess, the superintendent and using the film company that I guess a marketing company that was supposed to be marketing ads. Now this is the article states it was from 2023 to 2024. So 117,000, you're looking at about 60,000 a year. So yeah, it's a little concerning, especially when you think about how our tax systems work and as a public schools, and the fact that we've had our commissioner kind of breaking down the taxes for us and showing us exactly why our taxes keep rising. Looks like it keeps rising basically because the school system, right? So it does seem like a very extravagant purchase to hire a media company. And a lot of the people that are talking about this are saying, why couldn't you have the students making content for the school? And of course, there's something that we should, I mean, it's definitely something worth exploring. I'm glad to see, to me, shows a little bit of accountability, that people are watching every move. They're watching where their money's going. We all know how stressful life is now. We're looking at, some people looking at second jobs, third jobs. We're all barely hanging in there trying to make ends meet, and then we have a school system that's paying $117,000 on advertising, which I've never seen the advertising. So I only know one side of the story. I know the article here. It's worth sharing and mentioning because it's something that's going on with your money. And I don't know how many times that we need to talk about it or repeat it, but it's the days of accountability, which we're going to get into in just a second. We're looking at everything. We're looking at our money. We're looking at where everything's going. And it seems to me like that kind of a expenditure is not that good, really, to be honest with you. So I'm you'll have to forgive me for a second. I'm looking for my comments because why this is not. Oh, that's not it. Okay, and I should be on Rumble tonight. I hope somebody can text me or let me know that I'm on Rumble. And I'll be dead gummed. I can't see any of the comments. So I'm trying to see if I can pull them up here, y'all. That's not what I wanted to see. I want to see, where's my comments at? Let's see, activate more. Oh, well, I tried. I don't know. I may not be able to see comments tonight. That's okay. New comments. Here we go. Why is that? All right. Ray Blankenship, thank you. You're on Facebook, brother. Thank you. I see the comment. Wonderful. So I should be streaming to Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble tonight. So anyway, all right. You have to bear with me, guys. You know how it is. So I wanted to, like I said, cover that story. A lot of people are talking about it, Walker County. This is a prime example of looking at where your money is going, your hard-earned taxpayer money, where it's going to. And we all need to just watch everything that's going on. We need accountability. Why spend this money when you can do things for free? You can even when I was growing up in school, guess what? We had like media classes where you did films in school, student films, and for whatever reason. So I'm not going to sit here and criticize, and I'm not going to unless I've heard the other side of the story. But it is definitely a story that is making its rounds in our area. So.
From an educator's perspective, we have fantastic stories that happen every day in our buildings.
I mean, the video looks great. Does it look $117,000 great? I don't know. I doubt it. So, but it is what it is. So, this is what's going around. You need to be always watching everything. So, let's move on to the next story here. I don't know. I hope it doesn't stay inverted. Here we go. So let's go into this. So this is a very weird story that I wanted to cover. I covered this the other day. I found out about this late, but sometimes even us podcasters and media people need a break. So there was a couple of good days where I went without looking at my phone. Okay, like spending time with the family, taking care of business, celebrating birthdays, all that good stuff. But this happened, and this is kind of crazy to me. Make sure I got it pulled up here. Thomas Massey, one of my favorite people. Why is it inverted? I do apologize for that. But Thomas Massey, I don't know why this is inverted, but I'm on.
This is business.
I got you. Hang on one second. I don't know why that this is inverted.
He's on the down
But,
12 right now.
I'm sorry, y'all. I've got all kinds of weird technical issues tonight. Let's see. Thomas Massey. Okay. Just bear with me. I'm just going to have to show it anyway. I don't know why this is inverted, but Thomas Massey, just follow along with me. Republican Thomas Massey announces his wife Rhonda has died. So this was kind of crazy to me. It says Republican Thomas Massey announced his wife Rhonda has died in a heartbreaking social media post. The Kentucky lawmaker revealed Friday morning that the mother of his 4 children and partner of 35 years has passed away. A cause of death was not immediately known. As tributes from his colleagues flooded in, Rhonda was 51 years old. 51 years old. And I was just kind of blown away by that. It's a quote from Mr. Massey. Yesterday, my high school sweetheart, the love of my life for over 35 years, the loving mother of our 4 children, the smartest, kindest woman I ever knew, my beautiful and wise queen forever, Rhonda went to heaven, Massey wrote on social media. Thank you for your prayers for our family in this difficult time. So this goes along now. This is his wife and he and I believe their children. Man, I was just blown away by this. Now, look, I'm not going to go off crazy in speculation. I mean, we are, death does not escape any of us here. But this just sent cold chills down my spine to find this out, especially after, a couple of weeks ago, we had the Tucker Carlson interview with Thomas Massey, which was probably one of the best interviews I've ever listened to. I mean, it was great. And he talked about a lot of stuff, man, a whole lot of stuff. I'm just blown away at all the things that he talked about. In fact, I have a little clip pulled up here, which will probably be inverted for some reason, but we'll go ahead and play it anyway. But this is just to play a little bit of it. If you didn't watch this, you can go on Tucker Carlson X. I mean, he's knocking down the park. I keep bringing this up, but these are some of the best interviews. I recently got to listen to the Matt Taibbi interview, which blew me away. It blew me away, the information that Matt Taibbi and them talked about. And this one was even better because it's right up my alley. This guy lives completely off-grid and runs his home off a Tesla battery, for crying out loud. And that is pretty cool, but just listen to a little bit of this.
So your colleagues, I think it passed, right?
Oh, yeah, it passed with flying colors, but at least a few people woke up to this. I mean,
but the members of Congress who, go to church on Sunday, who've just voted to ban the New Testament on campus, make it illegal to quote from the New Testament, the Christian Bible, how did they square that?
I think their voters let them get away with it. I mean, they don't have to square it unless they're...
But why would they want to do something like that?
Because there's a lot of pressure in Congress to vote for these things. And our Republican leadership thinks they're so smart. We're in an election year and they want to bring up issues. They want to put them in front of Congress and make us vote on them, whether they're going anywhere in the Senate or not. And they want to split the Democrats. They want to show that Republicans are united and then split the Democrats. That's one of the reasons they do it. Another reason they do it is there's a foreign interest group called AIPAC that, got the ear of this current speaker and demanded 16 votes in April on Israel or the Middle East. We haven't had 16 votes in April on the United States in Congress.
So what's AIPAC?
AIPAC is the American Israel Public Affairs Committee. And they didn't start out as a PAC in the sense of a political action committee, but now they have a political action committee. Ostensibly, it's a group of Americans who lobby on behalf of Israel. They're for anything Israel. And they're a very effective lobbying group. They get in there. They try to get me to write a white paper as a candidate, for instance, for Congress. They almost get...
On what?
On Israel. And I wouldn't do it. And they said, why? And I'm like, I don't do homework for lobbyists, right? I'm like, I didn't like writing term papers at college. I'm not writing one for you.
What did they say?
They said, oh, well, here, just copy Rand Paul's term paper and put your name on it. We'll accept that. And I'm like, no, I'm still not cribbing somebody else's homework to do homework. I'm not turning in my homework for you. And what?
I've got a problem that I'm pretty sure you can help me with.
So,
yes, you'll be paid for helping
me. That goes
me.
on to say a lot of stuff. There's a lot to unpack there. On that interview, I was astounded. I've watched Thomas Massey several times, different interviews. The Tim Cass one where he was on Marjorie Green was a great one. There's several of them out there, and I try to keep track of everything the man's doing because, he is one of the few that is willing not to compromise, right? Not to compromise. That's what this whole episode is really about not compromising, right? And we're about to explore a whole bunch of compromising. But kudos to Thomas Massey. He stands so firm on his ground. And he covers that AIPAC thing and talks about, and he even says in this interview, I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying this and saying that. And look, man, I'm trying not to draw any conclusions here. But Thomas Massey is a guy who under no circumstances will he compromise, or at least that I've ever been able to see. He's been in office for 12 years. Very impressive voting record. He's very libertarian minded, but very fiscally conservative, and right up my alley type stuff. But his wife passes away at 51. And it's just so strange that this happened just after this interview, okay? Now, you draw your own conclusions. You go down your own rabbit hole. My thoughts, my prayers, my condolences go out because, like I said from the beginning, I'm not stupid here. I'm not trying to drum up any crazy conspiracy theories, but when you go down these rabbit holes, when you understand, what we are up against, all right, what we face, the tyranny and the corruption in our own country, these things start to stick out like sore thumbs. And I'm just saying, man, I go back to the Boeing whistleblowers. At least 2 whistleblowers from Boeing wound up committing suicide, Epsteining, whatever you want to call it. It's crazy to me. It's just crazy, crazy, crazy. Because if you listen to that interview and you go back and listen to the whole 2 hours, the whole last half of that interview is all about how natural they're living, how off-grid they're living, the food that they eat. I'm talking about great, great stuff. And just to have her mysteriously pass away, and there's, obviously we don't have any information on what caused it. Maybe my thought process is way out there, right? Maybe I'm just crazy for even correlating the two. But the attacks that I've seen on people that are willing to stand their ground no matter what, while everybody else calls them crazy and everybody else ridicules them and everybody tries to lock them out of their job duties. I mean, it's not unplausible that certain things can happen, right? And that's all I really want to say about that. It breaks my heart because to see Thomas Massey lose the love of his life while we have monetary funds set up for legislators or congressmen and senators that will pay for sexual harassment lawsuits and all of this blackmail, and you look at the Hunter Biden laptop and you look at the debauchery and these people that just do some of the most heinous things. And to see somebody like Thomas Massey lose his wife at a young age like that, after all of the way that they live and the way that they operate outside of the system, and it's very, you make your own conclusions, y'all, but it's something to keep our eyes on, especially in this time and day, right? It just breaks my heart. But anyway, so I had to cover that because that's just, that just breaks my heart. But I urge you to watch that video. So we're going to move into a little bit more here. So I want to start with this one. This is from Atlanta Journal-Constitution Politics. This is where we're getting into tonight. So I do apologize again. This is inverted. I have no idea why. So you just have to follow along with me. But it's there. You can go check it out. It says, Barnes deal lead bipartisan initiative to fight election fraud lies in Georgia. Now, this is from the 25th, 2024 by Mr. Greg Bluestein. I'll go right out and say I'm not a fan of Greg Bluestein. Greg Bluestein seems to me like, well, let's just say, it looks to me like controlled opposition. All right, I've read several of these articles, and it's just, like I said, you just peel back the curtain and it's like, oh, I see what's going on here. So let's read a little bit of this, because you need to understand the corruption we face and where we're headed, especially going into the election. So it says some of Georgia's most prominent bipartisan leaders are uniting behind an effort to bolster confidence in the state's election system after years of damage from false claims and discredited conspiracy theories about widespread voting fraud in 2020. The Democracy Defense Project, now remind you, I just showed you a video on democracy, right? A very old black and white video of democracy. Democracy is just a dirty word for socialism, right? Democracy is a dirty word against America, all right? We are not a democracy. We do not want to be a democracy. We're a very limited democracy, a constitutional republic. But you notice how this nasty little word democracy will show up. And that is your catchphrase. That tells you everything you need to know about the institutions, the non-governmental organizations, the people that are working in this sort of atmosphere, right? We are not a democracy. It says the Democracy Defense Project launched its state-based program Tuesday, helmed by two Democrats, former Governor Roy Barnes and ex-Atlanta Mayor Shirley Franklin, and two Republicans, former Governor Nathan Deal and ex-U.S. Senator Saxby Chambliss, which I stress the word Republicans there. Then I'll read this. The initiative is part of a nationwide effort. So mind you, now this wasn't the brainchild of these four ex-legislators, right? This is part of a nationwide effort to strengthen trust in election systems in politically competitive states. Organizers plan a media campaign in Georgia and other battlegrounds to raise awareness of efforts to subvert elections across the country and help move us beyond polarizing rhetoric. Now, this is garbage. This is a garbage article, okay? But the word democracy defense, okay, and this initiative is part of a nationwide effort. That ought to tell you everything you need to know about this initiative, right? So this is yet another nationwide filled with dark money, dark power, dark hands all across the nation to go into these states and implement these initiatives to to fight against election misinformation. I mean, this is garbage. I hope that you're seeing a pattern. I hope you're understanding the manipulation behind this. Like, this is not a brainchild of somebody like Paper Ballots, Voter Georgia, you're staying silent no longer. This isn't just people that are trying to disseminate the truth, uphold accountability, be transparent. This is all planned. This has got gobs and gobs of money thrown at it. And this is their quote. It says, "We refuse to sit on the sidelines while the bedrock of this great nation is eroded away by misinformation and dangerous political agendas," said Deal, who served 2 terms as governor from 2011 to 2019. Our goal is to restore confidence in the electoral process that makes this country exceptional. Now, let's see here. Let's go down a little bit. Suspicions of election fraud took root among Republicans in Georgia after Donald Trump lost the state by fewer than 12,000 votes, but 3 vote counts showed similar results, and intentional wrongdoing has never been proved. Mind you, it's starting to get a little heated here. So let's talk about this for just a sec before we move on. Okay? Mind you that there are ongoing litigation cases, election board cases in this state that still have not been ruled on yet. There has been evidence, there has been proof, there's been tons of things uncovered in this state alone that makes 12,000 votes look like nothing. Yet this article doesn't say anything about any of those things that grassroots people, that people that are America First people, that people that care about the election integrity, that care about voting, right? It doesn't say a word about it. It's a garbage article. I don't care if Greg Bluestein or whatever. It is a garbage article. It is a planned garbage article, just like the planned initiative, just like the dark money, the democracy initiative. It's all planned. And this is where your tax money is going to. This is what your legislators are doing. This is what the people are doing. This is the crap that they're throwing at you, that they're doing. Okay? And it's garbage, and you need to know the difference between all this. So I'm going to show you just a couple of things.
No good.
So here we are. Sorry, I had to mute it for just a second. So I'm going to show you where we move from here. So I want to share this article. This article is from the Georgia Record, real investigative journalism, right? Now, of course, we got more to cover from this, but let's break this down a little bit and see. Let's get another opinion about this. Let's see where we go. Don't believe, this is by William Quinn, June 25th. Don't believe your lying eyes. Barnes, Deal, and others still trying to convince Georgians there was no fraud, right? That's exactly 100% what's going on here. So I'm going to blow this up, and I know it's backwards, so apologize for that. So let's read a little bit of this. So it says, Atlanta's local tabloid wrote today about an effort to bolster confidence in the Georgia's election systems after years of damage from false claims and discredited conspiracies. You see the quote there. After years of damage from false claims and discredited conspiracy theories, right? Now, how many times do we talk on this show about there are no more conspiracy theories, there's just only facts that come on? I mean, they turn into facts, right? I say it before, it's not a matter of if the truth comes out, it's when the truth comes out, right? I mean, this is a sham. It says, apparently the writers completely dismissed, here we go. Apparently the writers completely dismissed the findings and violations that have now emerged even in the state election board meetings, which is exactly what I just said. Perhaps even more telling are those brought in to try to convince Georgia citizens that there is no concern of fraud. These players include former Governor Roy Barnes, Nathan Deal, Saxby Chambliss, and Atlanta Mayor Shirley Franklin, right? For over 3 years, hundreds, perhaps thousands of Georgia activists have worked diligently to expose and bring forward evidence of the election count anomalies, lies by officials charged with election procedures, attempted cover-ups by officials up to the Secretary of State's office, and finally the admission of 140 election violations at the latest state election board meeting. I mean, the Georgia Record trusts that citizens of our state are better informed and more prepared to refute conspiracy theory narratives, okay? We believe that these efforts to reassert trust in our flawed elections will fail because Georgians now simply know better. Okay, so I'll stop there for a second. It's great if you're not subscribed to Georgia Record. You need to subscribe to Georgia Records. You need to know what's going on. You're being sold a fake bill of goods, okay? They're telling you one thing and doing another. Now, this is alarming to me, and I appreciate the Georgia Record for coming out with that, because they want you to not believe your lying eyes. They're literally spending gobs of money on trying to tell you to shut up, that you've been part of the problem, spreading misinformation about the electoral process in Georgia, and they want you to focus on that. They want to tell you, you just got to move along, folks. Nothing to see here. Move forward. Get over here. And while they're doing that, there's all these court cases and litigation cases that have taken months and months and years to go through the court system that so-and-so doesn't want to touch. And, oh, we'll just move this court case over here. And when they finally get down to the findings, they get a slap on the wrist, or, well, we're not gonna rule on this right now. You know, let me tell you something. Over my dead body, are you going to keep me from voting this November, right? Over a lot of people's dead body. In fact, we as activists, we as people on the ground are constantly looking for ways to get people to go out and vote. We are constantly understanding that we're going to be voting on these contractual demonic systems, dominion systems that our state will not get rid of, right? Tennessee, they can just get rid of them. All the other states can just get rid of them if they want. But Georgia, the only state in the union that has a contract to vote on the very thing that we question on a daily basis, that in a court of law has been shown that can be hacked, that can connect to the internet, can do all these wonderful things that are very, very unsecure, right? And along with ballot harvesting and law changes, unlawful law changes, right? So, of course, we question the validity of our elections, right? Because 2020 was a huge debacle. And going into 2024, you've got boots on the ground. You've got activists that are out here trying to get things right, trying to make sure to safeguard, okay? We're out here poll washing, joining the GOPs, watching the election board commissions, uncovering all the papers, the white papers that go along with it, writing and getting legislatures to push new laws, actual new laws that strengthen the elections, right? We're doing all of these things while watching these court cases drudge on. And we get no answers. We get nothing from them. And what are the people that are supposed to be safeguarding our election systems, is supposed to be making sure that our next election system goes over well? They're feeding you a big pile of crap in a box, saying, "Well, the democracy now is going. We need to work on election misinformation." Well, maybe if you told the damn truth, maybe if you quit hiding behind your veil and quit hiding behind your money and quit hiding behind your stature and all your little country clubs, and you came out and said, "Yes, we're going to fix this. Let's fix it together," maybe people wouldn't question it. But it's your Saul Alinsky rules for radicals. You're going to project everything out onto the people. You're going to project everything out onto me and act like I'm the one that's toting crazy conspiracy theories. Well, I'm not buying it. None of us are buying it. It's bull crap, and we all know it, and the people know it, so you need to know. My advice is to go read the Georgia Record, go read the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, right? Because those are the ones that are selling you. Those are the ones that are selling you the lemon. They're telling you, well, this is what we're going to do to ensure our elections. And then why don't you go over here to Georgia Record and you look and see what it actually is, and what maybe go to Voter Georgia and look at some of the work that they're doing in Georgians for Truth and other places and find out the truth. They don't want you to know the truth. They want you to sit back and say, "Oh, everything's okay. It's going to be okay." It beats all I've ever seen. And weak, pathetic. And we can see right through it. And folks, you need to be aware. You need to be aware of what you're being sold. And that, my friend, should trigger you to want to go vote come hell or high water, right? Knowing what you're up against should give you the strength to get out and go vote, because it matters more. It matters more this November than you've ever imagined, than we've ever imagined since 1776. And I'll stand on that. This is probably the most important election since 1776, or the first George Washington. I mean, it's that important. It has nothing to do with Trump. I mean, it does, right? But that's not what we're talking about here. This is about America being flushed down the toilet, and you need to know what your battleground state is feeding you. Lies upon lies upon lies. And not only that, but they're pointing the finger at you. They're pointing the finger and telling you that you're part of the problem, that you're the reason why the elections didn't go well in 2020, that you're the reason why people don't believe in the election process, not them. No, they're scot-free. They've no accountability here. We've done all we could. It's stupid, and it's pointless, and it needs to be called out, folks. So let's move along to the next. So this is an amicus brief that has been filed. This is part of a different Georgia Record article that is exploding. It's going viral. All right. And you need to know these things that's going on. You need to disseminate the information and understand what we're looking at, what we need to look at in the future. So this again is from William Quinn from the Georgia Record. News analysis. This was July the 1st. Are the obscure Republican coalitions now uncloaking? That's familiar. All right. Sources say amicus brief appears designed to... Oh, let me make sure I got it pulled up here so everybody can see it. Like I said, go to Georgia Record, look this up, check it out. Sources say amicus brief appears designed to usurp the rights of political parties to determine ballot access. So for over a year, the Georgia Record has been reporting on the quiet emergence of Republican coalitions incorporated in a number of counties by Brent Herron, which is a Kemp appointee, some kind of an attorney. The purpose of these coalitions has been obscured. Really? It's been pretty dark, huh? Created as corporations under the Title 14 of Georgia law. Sound familiar? These coalitions are not a political party. Political parties are organized and governed under the Title 21, a completely different part of the law in Georgia. When questioned about the issue of these coalitions last year, new GOP Chair Josh McCoon reported that he had spoken to Brent Herron and these organizations have been created in case someone wanted them. Don't know what that means, but there it is. And it says, new analysis now suggests that the amicus brief written by Brent Herron appears to be, in part, an attempt to usurp the role of political parties in determining ballot access. The actual political parties have been long held the responsibility to determine the candidates within their respective parties who are placed on the ballot during primary elections. The apparent attempt to assert that a simple corporation which doesn't answer to the same rules and laws as a political party could somehow put forth their candidates has many in Georgia raising alarm bells. Given Kemp's previous statements and the clear connections between the players involved in this coalition move, is this Kemp attempting to put his personal coalitions in place to control elections in Georgia going forward? And this particular article has graphs showing how all of these so-called coalitions in several counties are all, I guess, LLC are incorporated under this Brent Herron, and which seems nefarious. It says now in Catoosa County, which we've covered the accountability rule, the very same Brent Herron who filed documents incorporating these coalitions has filed an amicus brief which seems designed to assert that the Georgia Republican Coalition, Inc., and the associated coalitions can insert themselves in the process that influence and govern Georgia primary and election processes. Now, they're telling you that there's all this misinformation, all this misinformation that's been created since 2020, right? But now you have the emergence of these coalitions and this Kemp treasure chest that we've covered. And now our own Republicans are suing through, what, if you can see this, Supreme Court case, Catoosa County Republican Party versus Stephen M. Henry, which is suing. And this says, brief of the Georgia Republican Coalition, Inc., as amicus curiae in support of appellates by Brent W. Herron. Well, that's certainly fascinating. So let's move back over here and let's look at this. Reading through this amicus brief, where is it at? This is about 8 pages, and if you go to this, if you go to the Georgia Record, you can actually download this and exactly what it says. But I thought this was pretty interesting here. This is kind of crazy. Where is it at? Where is it at? Where is it at? Appellates voting understands the only means. Well, you got to see this. So let me find this really quick because this is kind of crazy. This is what their amicus is saying. Right here. The appellants, as a group of party insiders seeking to limit the choice of the Republican voters, are eerily like the guardian council of the Islamic Republic of Iran, which is the body that decides who can and cannot run for public office in Iran. See, Mariam Sinai, Iran's guardian council bars candidates to serve to secure election succession plan. Iran International. This guy is literally comparing the accountability movement to the Islamic Republic of Iran. Wow. That's kind of appalling. I mean, don't get me wrong. People can be uncomfortable with accountability, but my God, what is the accountability? What are we trying to accomplish with accountability? We want candidates that are going to be truthful, transparent and answer to the people, right? We go back to Thomas Massey, for example. Bring up Colton Moore a lot, Charlize Byrd, these outsiders in this political system who speak out, stand their ground. They say no when it goes against their people. They say no. They don't play politics on everything. They're not in the good old boy groups. They're literally trying to do their job by the will of the people, and they are they're pushed out of everything. My Lord, Thomas Massey, wife died. I mean, like, again, I'm not drawing a correlation. I'm saying, what a coincidence. Think about this here. They're comparing accountability to the Islamic Republic of Iran, when all they are trying to do is to approve legislation, right? That is for the people. We are tired. We've had enough. Obviously, the people that have been representing Catoosa County and other counties in this state, obviously we're not being represented by our governor, right? Because our governor told us that no longer would he need the Republican Party in Georgia, that he would create his own coalition, right? So these people don't give two craps about you, and they're coming to purge you, you see? They're coming to purge you of any power that you have, any type of say that you have. It's a very, very sad time when I read an amicus brief like this that takes it to this level. It's astounding to me. And you're trying to sell me a democracy project, telling me that you're going to secure my elections, but you're mad when the Republican Party wants to hold people accountable, wants to make sure that the person that's going to represent them and going to do the job and the will of the people and protect our Constitution, protect our Bill of Rights, protect our rule of law, lower our taxes, lower the red tape, lower the bureaucracy. That's what we desire. And you're telling us that we're like the Islamic Republic of Iran. That's insane to me. So you need to know this, folks. We're under attack on many, many different levels. And it's not looking real good right now in the state of Georgia, being the epicenter, the number one battleground state, when these stories are breaking, right? And they're breaking, but of course you're not going to see this in the media. You're going to have to go search for these things, and you're going to have to get them shared to you, because nobody's going to... The Atlanta Journal-Constitution is not going to tell you that there's ongoing court cases, that there's Board of Election cases, that some of the fraud has been identified, that some proof has been laid out on the table, because they're too busy blaming you and blaming me. They're too busy trying to make believe that it's all your fault for questioning, for searching for the truth, for searching for transparency and accountability. You can't do that. You can't open that door, because you're going to get us all in trouble, and you're going to, So, guys, I'm going to post these links to this article, and I've only got 10 more minutes, so I would like to move along to this next section here, which is something I found very interesting. Let me pull this up, and you can follow along with me. So this is a statement that wraps this whole thing up by Georgians for Truth. This is also on the Georgia Record, and this is by William Quinn. Georgians for Truth issues statement: Georgia's election system is not safe nor secure. All right, and if you know anything about Georgians for Truth, they're activists. They are seeking the truth, transparency. They seek paper ballots. They seek to fix the election process in the state of Georgia. They're not a multinational, multi-state, countrywide democracy project that's feeding you a line of bull crap with a bunch of ex-people that are sitting around probably with nothing to do, and gobs of incorporated money thrown at them just to be a part. They could care less about that crap. All right? They're not that stupid. These are real people. These are real people with boots on the ground that are trying to hold people accountable. They're trying to elect people in positions that are transparent, that we don't have to worry about this crap. This is the real deal right here. Democracy Defense Project is wrong. Georgia's election system is not safe or secure by field searching. says last week, the Democracy Defense Project, a group of former Georgia governors and officials, launched a media campaign to assure Georgia voters that our election system is safe and secure. They claim voting machines are reliable and verifiable. However, they are either misinformed or misleading the public, probably the latter. Georgia has an election system that is tore up from the floor up. Let's review the facts. So I'm not going to read all this, but I will post the links. Ongoing court case on unsecure election voting. Okay, where's the Atlanta Journal-Constitution? Did they not get a copy of this statement? Somebody needs to send this this guy from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, because again, apparently he's misinformed, right? Because we're misinformed, right? Because we've been the misinformers. But maybe this guy should get a copy of this so he can maybe do some investigative journalism and find out, well, what's the big deal? What's for? Ongoing court case on unsecure electronic voting. Curling versus Raffensperger. Georgians are waiting for a decision from Judge Amy Totenberg on the case Curling versus Raffensperger. The case, which started 7 years ago, called for the removal of the old die-ball voting machines and now includes the newer Dominion voting machines. During the trial, an expert witness hacked an election machine in front of the judge using just a pen. The Secretary of State's office admitted they have outsourced cybersecurity. Judge Stoltenberg has previously ruled that the voting system is unverifiable and breaks two Georgia laws. Despite warnings from the Department of Homeland Security, them boys, and other agencies, no updates have been made in 4 years. Oh my God. We're still using the same machines, and even Governor Kemp admitting you give anyone a voting machine and they can hack it. Yep, I remember. Wow, that seems like an awful lot to question right there, but don't question it because you are misleading the average voter here. It's insane. Election law violations. Well, let's just read these, man. Recently, the Georgia State Election Board reviewed case SEB 2023-25, which found over 140 violations of Georgia's election code by Fulton County. Wonderful, wonderful Fulton County in the 2020 election. They recommended a criminal investigation. Board member Dr. Janice Johnson said the election should not have been certified. The best the board could do was reprimand Fulton County and appoint a monitor. This is laughable. This is laughable. Do you see the garbage? The Georgia GOP State Committee also reprimanded the board and demanded action from the Attorney General. It's unclear if the board will reopen the case. Hey, come here, let me slap your hand, man. Case closed. It's all right. Move along. Ain't nothing to see here. The Secretary of State malfeasance and voter roll manipulation. Let's just keep on going. This is juicy. In the Lovell-Tullaset Al versus Raffensperger case, plaintiffs argued that Georgia election officials failed to follow the laws and duties regarding elections. 2 amicus briefs were filed as evidence. The Covert brief showed that the Secretary of State never conducted a 2020 machine audit, as claimed. What? Well, certainly, Atlanta Journal-Constitution, if this is a lie, man, you need to point this out. Like, where are y'all at, investigative journalists here? If this Field Cersei guy is lying, well, you should point that out, and you should give us evidence backing up that this is a bunch of bullcrap. The Secretary of State never conducted a 2020 machine audit as claimed. The Brooks Straw brief found evidence of massive synthetic identity theft and voter roll manipulation over the past 10 years. What have we been saying? Kill chain. This manipulation continued in 2022 and is happening now in 2024, involving tens of thousands of fraudulent voter roll changes summarized in this fraud report, which is there in blue. My God. My God, that didn't even cover the hundreds of thousands of votes that mysteriously have been dumped, been destroyed, that are gone. What can citizens do? There's a lot of evidence showing problems with Georgia's election system, but not all court cases have been tried, and not all legal arguments have been heard. Georgia voters are still being injured, and rights are being violated by this flawed system. Our judicial, executive, legislative systems seem compromised as they have failed to address these issues. What can citizens do? Get informed, get the facts, get engaged. We must hold accountable the officials who have violated the law and public trust. This is the only way to restore election integrity and confidence in Georgia. Change will only happen if you get involved. And that was from Mr. Field Searcy, who is a co-founder of GeorgiaForTruth.org, a real grassroots volunteer effort to bring election integrity to Georgia elections. So I hope you found this informative. This is some things that you need to do your homework on. You need to know that this is you're being sold a bill of goods, and when it arrives, it's a pile of dog crap. Okay, a lot of things going on. I'm sorry I couldn't get to your comments tonight. I will go back and look at them and try to answer as many questions. I will post the links to everything that I possibly can tonight. I appreciate the Georgia Record. I appreciate Field Searcy, Georgians for Truth. I appreciate all the grassroots activists out there who are smarter than the average bear, who understand that you're being sold a lie. I do not appreciate the legislators, the institutions of the state partnering with nonprofit corporation entities that we got to protect democracy, that are throwing this back in our faces because the people aren't buying it. And there'll be more coming out on this, okay? But we're not stupid. And if you want to refute any of this evidence here, what we've talked about, wherever these Atlanta Journal Constitutions or Peach Pundits or whatever, notice all of the information here that was left out of their tiny little article, right? Because they don't want to go here. They don't want to go and check this stuff out because they'll have to tell you about it. They'll have nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, okay? But this is insanity, and I think it needed to be brought to attention. So I hope that each one of you here will run with it and do your own research, all right? Think for yourself. Don't take my word for it, okay? Don't just listen to this. I want you to go and see these things for yourself. See what they're saying. See what the evidence is. See where all these things lie out, okay? Because we've got boots on the ground, hard-working people that are trying to make things better for everybody. And you've got people in control that are not only running far and wide away from all this, but doing everything they can, throwing all the money and all the power and all the ex-governors and everything they can at trying to project the blame back on you, make your eyes lying, make you think that you're the problem, okay? And that's what's going on here. And we're not buying it. We're not buying what you're selling, and we can see right through it, and we are here to open more eyes and yet get more active because we've got a country to save or we die trying. So that's all I got for you this evening. Listen, hope you share it. You can support me, givesendgo.com/smalltownunderground. Do not blow your hands off on July the 4th. Go out and celebrate with your family. Celebrate our independence. Celebrate all of the people that are working hard so that we can fix things, we can bring transparency, accountability, and we can get good people to represent us and join the handful of people that are standing up, the Thomas Masseys of this America, that are standing up and holding their ground. Don't believe all the crap you're being told about all this. You know, they're not effective. They're not doing anything. I would die on any hill standing next to somebody on the morals and the values and the common sense over taking a check and moving this idiocracy forward any day. You mark my words. Do your research. Have a great week. And next week we start guess. Good night.